Hey kids, you trying to get into Segment City? Well, you really shouldn't, because Segment City is a mature podcast, and listener discretion is advised. I'm just trying to look at. I know I'm in an alleyway. I know how I look, but I got some fireworks for you kids. I got snakes and I got sparklers. That's all I got. Oh, don't give me that. I had a torta just like a little, like a few hours ago, even, and it's still
sitting. Hours ago.
It's still sitting. Anyone who doesn't know what a torta is, it's just a Mexican sandwich. And I had a real sloppy one that was basically like a Cuban without the pickles. I don't know why they didn't put pickles. I was supposed to get jalapenos, but I didn't get jalapenos on mine. Anyway.
You're saying a few hours ago? You ate this?
Yeah, it was like all meat. It was ham. It was pulled pork.
You need to have your digestive tract like checked out, buddy. Like
that I'm still like full from a meat thing. How quickly do you digest things, you weirdo? I think this is regular to have protein and then be like,
Fogo de Chao for dinner. You gotta have that midnight snack afterwards. All right, listen.
You're a crazy person.
All right, dude. Like you. There's no rest for your stomach. There's no rest for the wicked.
I don't know how your metabolism must just be on overdrive at all times, and mine is just not. Which, I mean, kind of fits. It makes sense.
Dude,
welcome to Segment City.
Stay hungry, my friends.
Torta is the official food of Segment City that makes everybody burp and gassy. My name is Will Kane, gaseous boy.
I'm Theo Sapakos, and I'm in a torta coma.
And you're in a torta coma, and this podcast is not in a coma. We do things all the time, including segments each week that Theo and I come up with on a variety of subjects that we want to talk about. I don't know what Theo's going to do, though, for his segments. But we always know...
I mean, let's break down this fourth wall for a minute. I just prepare my stuff in a shared Google Doc. You could just go look.
I've never, in the entire history of this podcast, looked at that Google Doc.
You should.
I have my own Google Docs. I have my own Google Docs that I have that are not shared.
It's just funny that, you could go look if you wanted, but I'm glad you don't, because that would sort of ruin it, wouldn't it?
Before we do the first segment that we always do, let's just do a little bit of chatting, because I wanted to chat about some of the stuff that I've been doing.
Sure.
What are you doing?
Well, we talked about this before we started recording. I've been playing Arkham Knight. Super enjoy. Or no, Arkham City. I just said that. Arkham City. Great. Great fun. I mostly was I finished playing Dishonored, which I had never played. I picked it up. It was on sale for $5. Dishonored, it's really good. I can see that at the time that it came out, it was way ahead of its time. It had a lot of really good systems in place. I think I like that I'm playing through a game that was specifically designed around stealth. Not a lot of games are like that. The only other game that comes to mind is Metal Gear Solid. And I mean, it's my preferred
other games that are designed around stealth. Yeah, there's stealth games.
There's stealth games, but games that are specifically hey, the core mechanic is you sneaking. That is the mechanic that we're gonna go hard on.
There's Mark of the Ninja. There's games that are sneak games, but yes, it's not a common as opposed to.
It's not as common, right?
Usually, it is a mechanic usually in open world games and things like that.
Right. Dishonored was really good. I enjoyed playing it through it a lot. I don't have any nostalgia for it, which I think fuels a lot of the super fandom of the game. Mm-hmm. People playing it when it came out and being this is amazing, everybody has to play it, and evangelizing it a lot. But I enjoyed it. I got very BioShocky vibes from it, and now I kind of want to go play BioShock. Yeah.
I like the world of Dishonored. I tried playing Dishonored, but I was annoyed by the morality system. That's if you kill people, then because as a player in most games, I try to be good. I try to be a very good boy. Yeah. So the idea of the entire mechanic of killing people real cool is just out. Yeah. If I want the good ending is dumb to me.
I mean, I played through and got the good ending, and there's just there's a threshold for basically as you kill people, they increase what you're called your chaos rating, and you have to get low chaos to get a good ending. And like I went around and I killed some folks. I mostly knocked guys out and used my sleep darts, and the game is totally playable like that. And every once in a while I would be like, all right, I got to kill this guy. So I didn't find it annoying. I found it like, I was a little like, they have all these like cool animations for killing people and they disincentivize you from ever seeing them, which is a little weird, but it wasn't annoying to me. And I think that the playstyle that you're playing, that you're speaking on is my playstyle as well. And I found that just knocking people out worked totally fine.
I like doing, there's a Splinter Cell game that they describe the different ways that you could tackle things. And one of them was called like Panther style, which is basically you stealth kill everybody.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, I like doing that. I like eliminating threats. I think it's just cool for the like, I want to be a ninja and just like guys walking into a room and they're like, oh, everybody's dead. This is like bad. Sound the alarm. But I think it's weird because in my brain, it's like, I want to get the perfect run, which is like the no kill run.
Yep.
And so
that, I mean, that's like, really, really hard, but it is achievable and then it gives, in Dishonored.
When it gives you like points for specific stuff, like that just messes with my brain. Like I know it's a me thing, but
sure. Yeah, you can play low chaos and still kill a couple folks here and there, and it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
been going on with you?
I just watched the first 2 episodes of The Mandalorian.
Okay.
It's a very bingeable show because it's very short. It's 8 episodes. Each episode's like
35 or 40 minutes.
Yeah, a little 35 or 40, which is weird because most shows like that are an hour. Right. 45 minutes to an hour. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is a little bit weird, but it's it has probably the best production design of any show out today because it looks like Star Wars and it really I'm like, oh, this looks like a movie. Like this is, but it's a little like toned down in scale. Yeah. So it has that quality level, but it's not the like huge battles, which I think goes into its favor.
Yep.
Once again, only 2 episodes in. I'm just starting to binge it. The only other thing I want to say about this, I thought this was an interesting thing that because the way that Mandalorian came out was it came out week by week. Do you think, and I have my own opinion on this, do you think that very much benefited Mandalorian?
I think it benefited the hype of Mandalorian. I think that it was an event that people sat down week after week to watch. When it was coming out, everybody was talking about it every single week. And I think regardless of how it came out, it was going to be successful. I don't think it really mattered week over week. Or, I think as a viewing experience, I would have personally liked to binge it all. But I don't think it did it any harm that it came out week to week because people were talking about it regardless.
I will make an argument because I talked to my girlfriend about this of what's better, having it all binge like all out or having it week by week. I think having it week by week is good for things that don't necessarily have that much hype like Mandalorian. I think it was a good move for them because of like the Baby Yoda memes. I think it kind of stretched that out and gave them a little bit more clout and it had more staying power.
I don't know that they could have predicted the social media blow up that followed.
Oh
Baby
no!
Yoda,
they made Baby Yoda for that. Like it's. I don't think they were Baby Yoda?
But to the degree that it blew up, like I'm saying, like they knew that it was going to be popular, but to the degree that it was, I don't think they could have predicted how.
I think it was. I mean, I'm here. Quick conspiracy that I don't even think is a conspiracy. Disney bots just probably like propagated a lot of that stuff, and then people took that and ran with it. Like, I don't even think they were like, whoa, this is crazy. I think that maybe they were like, oh, this has worked really well. Like, our strategy worked. But I think it strung people along for Disney Plus that are only there for Mandalorian. Because if it was all out, they would have binged it. There's not that much content for Mandalorian. And then they would have stopped until Clone Wars came out. And then they would have gotten an extra month and then just watched all that.
That's true. As a title that they were launching a streaming service with, it definitely benefited the streaming service.
Whereas Netflix, I
think that your statement about the fact that like Mandalorian wasn't that hype, I totally disagree with that. I think a lot of people were looking forward to.
I think it stretched out the hype because let's look at an example for Netflix. Stranger Things is the biggest show on Netflix. Season 3 came out, and I feel like it came out with like a little bit of a loud kerplunk of just like a big rock into a thing of boom. And then that was it. Like nobody talked about season 3 after it came out.
Yeah, I mean that's true with most binging shows. I mean the thing is like if you're coming out with content that people can binge every once in a while, that it doesn't matter that much. But clearly Disney Plus has not had that many shows that are catching people's attention. You know, it's
that's my argument, is that I think it works more for things like Disney Plus that don't necessarily have it.
If there's less content, Netflix is constantly coming out with content, so there's always something to watch on there.
Would Netflix benefit from this though, for certain shows?
If Netflix did week by week?
Yeah. At this point, they've created enough of a precedent that I don't necessarily think they could.
I think this is more of a philosophy around... I think Netflix is totally in tune with how people want to watch media and are giving them that, as opposed to thinking about sustaining their streaming platform. Like, stretching out your title week to week is better for the streaming platform, but is worse for the viewer. And Netflix, I think, is just providing exactly what the viewer wants. And I think they're pretty in tune with that.
I mean, we could get into an entire thing about how is Netflix sustaining itself, but
right.
But yeah,
but I'm saying that the design philosophy of this, I think, is more in tune with, like, Netflix is giving you the option to pace it out or watch it all at the same time. Like, they're leaving it up to you, whereas other streaming services are like, no, you're going to come back week to week because we want you to.
I think it also changes the way that it frames the conversation about a show, because when I talk about Westworld with, like, season 3 that just ended, I will talk episode by episode because that's how I watched it.
Yep.
Whereas, like, at the end of each episode, I would digest it over the week. Whereas with something that I binge, it is just like I'm talk about the season, as opposed to, like, The Witcher. I talked about how do you like the show, as opposed to how did you like episode 3.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I think I personally prefer week over week because you do get more conversation out of it.
It depends on the show. I think certain shows I watch by myself and then I go, that was good. Like, whereas other ones...
Sure. But, I mean, you talk about Stranger Things. You know, people who really were into Stranger Things watched, like, the whole season the night it came out. And then, as someone who didn't do that, I couldn't talk with those people about Stranger Things because they were like, have you finished it yet? And the whole conversation was, have you finished it yet? And my answer was always like, no, I haven't finished it, but I've just got to this thing that it's crazy. And their response is always like, well, just wait. It's going to get crazier. And, like, that's not a conversation. That's just that's not a conversation.
We're gonna basically get rid of Will's stupid thought, because this is just Will's stupid thought at this point. I feel like we'd go overboard, but, like, it also frames because when I'm binging a show and I'm at the end of a season, I go, let me just finish up this show, as opposed to it's the finale of the season. I can't wait to sit down and watch it.
Right.
Like, that's how I kind of felt for Westworld, where I was like, oh, it's the end of the season. Like, ooh, let's sit down and watch that.
It feels like more an event. It's like, versus if you have the whole thing available, you're like, oh no, it's finishing. Like,
yeah,
let me just kill it off. You know,
I was just like, I got another hour. I can just finish this up, get this off my to-do list at this point.
Right.
It just Will's stupid thought about the streaming, like, way that people put out content on streaming. Yeah. And then the only other thing I've been doing, I just did the ending of Red Dead Redemption 2, and I'm doing the epilogue, which is another, like, 4 hours or something of content.
No, it's like 2 hours. It's like two hours total. It's not as long. Yeah.
But yeah, it's that game, because we've talked about it on the podcast before, and I'm just going to give my quick thoughts. I don't know. It's a weird recommendation, because to me, it's a game that lasted a little too long.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, it definitely overstays its welcome. Yeah, absolutely.
Because at the ending, which... I mean, I won't even count this as spoilers, because if you know anything about Red Dead Redemption 1 or, like, the pacing of a story, a gang of outlaws, it's going to go wrong. And that, like, oh, I'm losing faith in the gang part just lasted, like, way too long for me, where there's no actual, like, plot development. It was just, like, Arthur being like, I don't know, Dutch. Like, I don't know. And then Dutch being like, have faith, Arthur.
Yep.
Like, that's the entire ending. Like, I just summed it up. That's 2 lines that just makes it, and
that's like the 5th and 6th. That's like the 5th and 6th act put together. Like, that's the whole story.
It's like a huge part of the game, and you're just like, okay, well, the story isn't necessitating this. It just kind of messed with the pacing, where I felt like it should have gone.
The best way that I can describe the pacing is, at the beginning, I was very hooked. I was in on their story. I was excited about the map. I would go explore the map, unprompted. Yeah. Like, I'd be like, all right, this evening I'm going to spend 2 hours and go explore, like, the north part of the map. And that was like a whole evening of play. At the end of the game, they, like, give you access to the southernmost part of the map. and I went down there one time and I was like, I don't give a shit, and I turned it off. Like,
Yeah,
that's the best way I can
the
describe
point
it. Is like, I just don't care anymore by the end. Like,
It
even about
lasted
the
too
stuff,
long,
the content
'cause-
and the different parts of the map that they give you.
It's too much content, and I feel bad being like, I don't want to go fishing. Like when characters
Right.
are like, you want to go fish? I'm like, I fucking don't. Like I
don't.
really
I
don't.
don't. Yeah.
Or when there's like side quests, I'm like, I just don't care about this. Like I'm just gonna leave it. I feel bad about that because it's a good game, and I really enjoy a lot of the characters and like the stuff that you can do in it. But it's also clumsy in a lot of ways and has just too much. So that's what makes it a weird recommendation.
You're feeling what a lot of people felt is like, by the time you're done with this game, you're going to be ready to put it down and like never really pick it back up. I think that's like really the point.
I don't even know how long I spent on this game. I spent like, when it come out like 2 years ago, I've been playing it off and on and now I'm like really pushing to.
Yep.
I think it's if you're looking for a Wild West game that you can kind of like really get absorbed into.
I mean, there's not a better game than that in terms of like a Wild West experience. Like that is the game, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
it's going to be hard. It's going to hard to
to
beat it out of that space for a long time. Like it's going to be the king of that space for a long time.
Yeah. But because we've harped on the mechanics of the game in other episodes. Go listen to past episodes where I talk about like the running is stupid in the game and stuff like that. But I think because it just felt so long to me, I'm like, I don't know if I could recommend. Like if you want that Wild West adventure, then it's yes. Yep. But as opposed to something like, I haven't played God of War yet, but I want to because it's so recommended. And I'm like, okay, I know how much I can fit, like how much this is. This isn't like
God of War is like 40 hours, and it's like a really solid, like even at 40 hours, I was like, I want to go collect everything because I don't feel done with this yet. It leaves you wanting more.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you want from a game.
Yeah.
But we spent a lot of time on that, so let's just go to your segment, Theo. Let's start it out.
All right. Well, this actually sort of is in this last section, but I want to talk about it separately. This weekend, we had a long weekend, so I had a chance to watch a couple of movies, and I watched Alien and Aliens.
Oh, you finally did it!
I did. I watched both of them.
I was going to, because we had a previous podcast, Movie Boys. If we wanted to do Alien and Aliens, I think I was going to be like, you watch Alien by yourself, and then we'll watch Aliens together.
That's your take on it? Because so you're saying that you like Aliens more. You're willing to watch it more.
I think this is a constant discussion because I've been in this zone for a while.
I just have entered the zone. I'm here. I'm ready to make the decisive call on which one is better.
I will let you go into tell me what you think about. I don't want to color your opinions with what I think.
All right, yeah. I mean, it's a little. I almost wish that I had talked about Alien before I had watched Aliens, because now I'm like, I can only talk about one in reference to the other. Like, it's impossible not to. You know,
they're very symbiotic.
They're very symbiotic. Things I really liked about Alien, some things about older movies I just love. I love the pacing of this movie. It is slow. It is methodical. It is like not rushing to make a point. Like, it's like the things I like about it are that they take their time with what needs to be, what deserves time. And they don't try to shoehorn in extra stuff. Like, I was noting after I watched this with my roommate, and one of the things I noted was like, they don't develop the characters. They don't need to develop the characters. It's not about character development. It's about these characters dealing with an alien. That's the situation. They don't need to like shoehorn in how someone grows as to be a better person out of this. Mm-hmm. I really like that a lot. I thought the first one, Alien, felt really tense, and I liked it. It wasn't scary. It was never scary, but it was tense. They definitely get across the feeling that like the alien could be in any room at any time, and you just like don't really know. Mm-hmm. And the alien feels like a legitimate threat. Although I have to say, like, while like the space design and like the spaceship and I don't know, a lot of the effects hold up, the alien is very clearly like a guy in a suit.
It's a dude in a suit. That's why suit. Like it's there's a few scenes that you see that he's like human sized.
There's one specific scene where someone walks into a room and like shines a flashlight, and the alien is like there and gets him, but the alien basically stands there, and when the flashlight goes on him, he just goes blah.
Yeah, that's okay.
Like his hand extends into an open palm, and his mouth just opens, and he goes blah. And it's like cool.
That scene I had watched that movie already, and I watched it with my ex girlfriend.
Yeah.
And that scene still made me jump because I forgot where it was. And it's like a jump scare.
It's a jump scare, but
they have cat jump scares a lot in that movie.
Yeah, I mean, it never once really scared me. Like, I was never scared while watching the movie, and I think that's probably just a relic of. I was just noting, like, I think the pacing of horror movies has really gotten refined to a science over like the course of the last like 30 years. Like I find modern horror movies legitimately way more scary than anything this got near. I mean, you disagree with me, but I like literally was not scared during this. I was never once scared. And I'm someone who gets creeped out a lot by scary movies, you know?
I think it's a definition of, it's the difference between, people associate jump scares with fear now, and like Five Nights at Freddy's as like fear, whereas I think of fear as, the more effective fear is stuff that makes me deep down like scared and think about a thing for like way longer.
Yeah, it makes you uncomfortable. I can see that.
Like The Shining kind of like made me like, I watched The Shining recently, and because I had never seen it before, and I'm like, oh, it's really well paced. Like it's long, but like you feel like more tense.
Sure, maybe my statement of like modern scary movies are more scary. Like maybe that doesn't hold. Maybe I'll retract that. But I will stick with the fact that like this movie did not scare me.
No, I think that's fair to say. It's a old movie, and it's like people are like The Exorcist is the scariest movie in the world. It's not if you go and see it. It's very tense. It's very good. It's just not like.
And I think part of the reason why it wasn't that scary was like I very quickly identified that this guy was a man in a suit, and I was like, that's just not scary.
Yeah.
You know? Last note on Alien before I guess we open the floor to your thoughts and discussion is like, I distinctly do not like how much effort she went to save that goddamn cat. She totally lost me. Like, fuck that cat. Fuck that whole plot line using the cat as a plot device.
What was the cat's name?
We'll get to this aliens about like the replacement of the cat, but like what was it called? I can't remember.
Boots or something. Like, okay, let's just call it Boots.
Right. I forget what it was. But
that movie should be called Alien: The Search for Boots. Yes. Because the cat is constant. People are going and getting killed over this cat.
She literally
every single, like, it's a crew member goes, finds cat. It is just like a MacGuffin. Yeah, it's not like
it serves as a red herring and then a plot device at the end to like show that she can get out and save this. I don't even know what the point of the cat was. I guess to like increase the tension and give her a reason to go try to like interface with the alien one more time. Like,
here's the thing. They didn't need the cat because she goes back and the other two are like loading up the ship, right? To escape.
Right.
They could have just said, I'm going to go do auto destruct sequence now.
Right.
That could have been like the plot, or like, I need to do something for the ship. I need to make sure everything's locked down.
Right.
They didn't need the cat. But the fact that she's going back for a cat makes it seem stupid.
Yes. It trivializes a lot of the tenseness.
Yeah. That is all about a cat.
Right.
Which I'm a big fan of cats. I would leave that cat in a fucking heartbeat. Like, that cat is dead. I don't care.
Yeah.
Okay, so my thoughts about Alien. I appreciate Alien as a work of art more than Aliens.
Okay.
Aliens is a better blockbuster movie because people I've tried to watch Alien with people and people fall asleep during Alien. Whereas people are riveted by Aliens, which may just be
I guess I mean that depends on the person, I think. I mean, we can move into Aliens if you want to start talking about Aliens.
Well, just for Alien, I think the people always are, because it's like, oh, we need more characterization for the characters. It's like, I understand the characters, but also I didn't like people really hype up the fact that like these characters felt real, like they're real people. And I'm like, maybe that's just for the time period, but for me, they kind of seemed like blue collar kind of dicks. Like, I don't know, because like they had the dinner table scene, and like half that they're like, so where's my money? Like, and I was like, oh, okay. Like, people really hype up that one scene. And like I think there's super cool things about Alien. I love the scene when they go out and they go onto the ship with the alien on it, and it has the skeleton, and it's like, it looks like it looks like an elephant
trunk. Yeah.
which they went back and ruined in Prometheus, because those things, it's like, that's perfectly fine. They explained that, and that's that's the worst thing you could possibly do.
Right.
And like that entire like intro thing is so tense and so good. And then there's like a middle section after the chest burster where they're just kind of like chilling, and they're kind of looking for it, and they're trying to come up with plans.
Yep.
It's just a slow, that tension, like that slowness that you talked about, I think is in its benefit and also to its detriment. I think it's for a common man audience that will be boring.
I guess so, but I mean, like, for me, in that middle section where they're like kind of looking for it and kind of figuring out what to do, I think that's totally real. Like, they didn't know what to do. You know, one of the big things about it was, you know, they needed to get some weapons to fight the alien, and they were like, I don't know, we can jerry-rig some welding tools to make flamethrowers. We don't have guns. You know, that was very cool. Like, you know, they were on a mining expedition. They were not soldiers. They weren't equipped to deal with this thing. They didn't have the proper tools. They didn't have the proper training. You know, none of it was going their way. And that was something that I really liked about it. Like, none of them were properly equipped to handle it.
I think it's just a thing of, I like the bait and switch of, you think the captain's going to be the main character and then Ripley becomes the main character.
One thing I liked about Alien was that there isn't really a main character in Alien. Like, it's not about one person. It's about I know it becomes
by
about
process
Ripley.
of elimination, it becomes,
but
and it kind of becomes about her arc, because she is not like the main leading. She's not a heroine in the beginning, but then she becomes it. But
right.
Yeah,
it is about her, but at the same time, they pay equal attention to a lot of the crew members and a lot of those moments.
And then they
I thought that was really cool too. I thought that was really cool too.
And then just kind of my last thought about Alien. I do really love that movie. Like, Alien is a really great movie, and it's a movie I wish I could see it for the first time and not have everything spoiled, because it's from the 70s or whatever.
Right.
And then let's go into Aliens. What one did you see the extended version?
No, I don't think so. I think I saw the regular version.
Did you see a scene in like the beginning where they say that Ripley's daughter had died recently?
No, definitely
okay,
not.
Then you didn't watch the extended version is just better. They just put in a few extra scenes that really add stuff to it. Like,
I watched the non-extended version, which is still 2 hours and 15 minutes. It's not a short movie.
It's not a short movie. They don't add like that many scenes, but they add in the good stuff that they deleted, and they probably shouldn't have, because that sets up Ripley's arc. Because they set up that she had a daughter,
right? And then it took her 57 years to get back. Yeah, that makes sense.
And then later in the movie, Newt becomes her surrogate daughter.
Right.
So it becomes a plot arc, but they never explain that in the regular thing.
Yeah, so talk about Aliens. I mean, this is definitely a...
Yeah, what do you think about it?
This is definitely a James Cameron movie. Like, you could tell... There were a couple of things where I was like, oh, he just took this and put it in Avatar. Like, this is just a rip. You know, stuff like that.
Avatar is not an original movie.
No, like, Avatar is certainly not an original movie. But Aliens, let me think about this. So, yeah, so I think I liked Aliens... I mean, again, referencing each other because it's impossible not to. Like, I think that I liked Aliens a little bit less. Things that I really liked about it, the introduction of more about the aliens, you know, like the Queen and how the whole life cycle of the aliens works, and sort of like why they set up the way they did, and, you know, explaining like the tons of eggs and stuff like that. Things that I mean, they basically just took the plot of Alien and redid it, but with a few more bells and whistles. You know, like it was basically the same plot. I mean,
I would disagree.
It was like group of people goes to place, figures out that aliens are there. Okay,
you're making it already way too broad that you could apply it to literally any story. People go to place, find obstacles.
Okay, you're right. Group of people goes to this specific alien planet, finds alien, realizes that they're on their own and they have to deal with it themselves, progressively lose more and more people, and then have to face a big bad at the end to get off the planet. And it turns out that it's just her that survives. Like, that's the same plot, movie to movie. You can watching them back to back. I was like, this is mostly just the same movie.
But that's just like, I wouldn't even. It is kind of a James Cameron thing, but like Terminator 1, person goes back in time to stop a Terminator from killing this other person. Terminator 2, Terminator gets sent back in time to stop a Terminator from killing this person.
Right.
With the last name Connor. Like, it's that's just how sequels work to me. But I feel like Aliens is different in terms of tone and vibe, because Alien is happy. Like, they both have that, like, happy, let's get to know each other, then things go wrong, people start dying. But the like, gung-ho nature of the Marines is in sharp contrast to the, like, just the blue collar, like, hey, we're just here for a job. But it is kind of similar. It kind of like has that references, but
it definitely feels different. It's not nearly as tense. I mean, a lot of that has to do with the gung-ho. I think, again, the gung-ho nature of the soldiers is like they're kind of constantly trivializing the threat of the aliens. Especially one thing I did not like in this movie was the aliens became just grunts that, like, they weren't. You could just, it was like, turns out that like a gun beats an alien. And I was like, oh, that like super trivializes the threat of the aliens. Like, it went from being like one alien is a super predator that's going to outthink you and outsmart you to being like a whole bunch of predators are going to try to work together and overwhelm you with numbers, but they're never being all that clever.
No, but there's literally a scene where they're like, we set up defenses on all the perimeters. There's no way they could get into this area. Oh my God, they're in this area. How? And then they're like, uh-oh, they outsmarted us. They went into the ceiling.
That just felt like
and then
stupidity.
They're all there.
That felt like stupidity from the characters for me, not smart thinking by the aliens.
But here's the thing. Look at things like Freddy from like Friday the 13th. They made tons of, but you know of him. He is just as threatening in all of his movies, and they become garbage. Because they don't ever progress. Because they figure, basically James Cameron, this is his thing, is he's like, okay, you did one, Alien is a perfect movie. If I try to do Alien again, that becomes just like Alien 3 is that, where they go back to that. And it's not that great. So he was just like, okay, you know what an alien is, you know what it can do. Let's throw a lot of aliens, because that's just the next step. Because to me, Alien, and then Aliens, and then done with the franchise. I've watched every Alien movie. I can tell you, don't, like, 3 is okay. Don't watch any, like, unless you want to laugh, don't watch Alien Requiem or whatever. But that's the, like, Terminator 1 Terminator. You can't just do that again. He came up with the idea of having a second Terminator, because that, and then having a dynamic with that.
Yeah, for sure.
It changes the story. I think it's a more just entertaining. I felt more invested in the characters because I liked a lot of them more, especially like what's his name? He's in Terminator as well,
like
as
Captain
Kyle
guy.
Reese. Hicks, I think
he's cool. I like Vasquez.
I love him.
Very butch woman soldier. Like, there are characters that I like, but I like the idea of the draw of the movie to me is about the aliens being formidable and scary, and it felt like Aliens took a lot of that away from me. And it was like, now it's about just the queen being the big bad. And, it's like, you can take her out, and that's the main objective. But the aliens themselves are not actually that formidable.
I don't, because Aliens is not a horror movie. It's a thriller movie.
It's more of an
action movie. And I don't think nobody ever says, like, I'm so scared by aliens. Yep. They say that about Alien, and it's not meant for that, because once again, I think James Cameron was just like, you're not going to be able to, like, I could capture that horror again, but like, or you could just go watch Alien again.
That's fair.
Like, what do you need more?
It's just like let's just create a different that I identified
vibe.
That I liked about Alien were not present in Aliens, and that was a little bit of a letdown. But you're right, if I just put those on a shelf, that like, it's a solid action movie that I enjoyed the ride of. And
having watched this with, once again, my ex-girlfriend, she was kind of bored by Alien. She thought it was too slow and was like fell asleep once again during the intro, and then we had to watch it at a different time. Aliens, she was like laser focused on. She was like, I'm really into this. Maybe that's just her as a person, but I feel like that is more of a common audience.
I also am not someone who's super in love with action movies. Like, I really generally am not someone who goes out and watches an action movie, so I'm much more about like kind of a cerebral building plot. Like, I'm okay with that. I would
argue that you're also like probably not that big into horror movies.
Definitely.
Because a lot of my friends are not into horror movies as much as I am. Once again, this is literally, people have been arguing this forever. This is not like a new argument. It's for me, it comes down to taste. I like Aliens more because I think it's a solid action movie that I care about the characters more, and I think it's just like better paced. Alien, I appreciate, but I also, if I sit down to watch it, I'm gonna be like,
I think, I mean, definitely Aliens is more
rewatchable
rewatchable because there's more action, and part of the fun of watching Alien was like I didn't really know exactly where it was gonna go. I knew eventually what the payoff was gonna be, but the journey for me was really satisfying.
I think it's maybe you just hadn't, maybe it was just spoiled for me in terms of, because I've definitely gone back and watched, like, I watched The Shining, I watched Exorcist recently, and those movies all stand up, but they're also slowly paced, which I enjoy, even though I do know a lot about them.
Anyways, I like both. Why choose?
I think we should probably, I think we should move on because we just spent a long time on that. Theo, I have a new segment for you. I don't know if this is new. I don't know if we've talked about Twitter before.
Do the tweet?
We have.
The twit? You're a twit. Is that the correct way of saying that you're on Twitter?
I'm
a twit. People
are on Twitter or twits. This is terrible corporate tweets.
Oh, here we go. I love it. It's like the terrible corporate catchphrases thing I did a long time ago.
This is not a top 10, though. This is just me going company by company because I just found some that I thought were funny. So let's just go through them. Chrysler, the good old car company, tweeted, I find it ironic that Detroit is known as the hashtag Motor City, and yet no one here knows how to fucking drive.
Someone had a rough commute, and they just needed to vent. The social media manager.
The corporate account, no less.
Wow.
Just fucking, the fact that they're Chrysler just being like, nobody knows how to fucking drive. Is
put them on blast, Chrysler, damn.
This is from the American Red Cross, a very wholesome organization, if I say so myself. Ryan found 2 more 4-bottle packs of Dog Head's Midas Touch beer, ... When we drink, we do it right. Hashtag getting slizzard. The next tweet following is, we've deleted the rogue tweet, but rest assured the Red Cross is sober and we've confiscated the keys. Thanks, American Red Cross.
Hashtag slizzard.
I don't, a lot of these I'm like, do they just not know that they're logged into the corporate account, or is this just like,
just the rogue,
we're getting slizzard
media manager account?
Or is like somebody on the account just really hyped that Ryan found this 4-bottle packs of Midas Touch beer.
Hashtag slizzard, bro.
They're getting slizzard.
This
one had
the Red Cross. We're gonna bring our services to help out those affected areas, and we're gonna bring them a bunch of booze, and we're all gonna get slizzard, dude.
Hey, you know what's great? After you lose a lot of blood, getting drunk, getting slizzard.
You gotta get that blood pressure back up.
You gotta get, when you get more drunk because your blood alcohol level is through the roof.
Instead of giving out a cookie afterwards, they're just gonna start handing out a beer.
This is from Walmart, the big old conglomerate. A person tweeted at them. This was at ex-mermaid mama tweets at them, and they sent a picture with a rug that they bought at Walmart and their bare feet on that rug. Okay, but look how cute this area rug is from Walmart. I'm obsessed. In response, Walmart tweeted, cute indeed, but I just couldn't help noticing your gorgeous feet.
Oh God.
Rad. And then it was dash rad. Like it was coming from a guy named Rad. So like,
oh my God. Oh my God.
This foot fetishist Rad.
Hey,
was like,
Walmart, can you step off? Can you stop trying to get deets on her private Snapchat? Can you just chill for one goddamn second?
Can you not DM Mermaid Mama?
Oh
please?
My God. Ironic that her post is about feet and her name is Mermaid Mama.
That is ironic. This is from DiGiorno Pizza.
I love it.
Hashtag why I stayed. You had pizza. Do you know what hashtag why I stayed is about? Because DiGiorno's did not.
Wait, what is why I stayed?
It's why it's a hashtag for like battered women.
Oh no!
Of why they stayed with their spouse.
Oh no! Oh no! And then DiGiorno
tweeted again. A million apologies. I did not read what the hashtag is about before posting. No shit,
oh my God. Because you had pizza, you dumb piece of shit.
This is from a while back. This is Kenneth Cole. Millions are in uproar in hashtag Cairo. Rumor is they've heard about our new spring collection is now available online.
Cool. Way to trivialize spring. Way to trivialize like people rioting. It's great.
Mm-hmm. So this is from StubHub. Thank fuck it's Friday. Can't wait to get out of this stub-sucking hellhole. Somebody was just real hype.
Like, they don't even give me free tickets to get the fuck out of here. I'm leaving.
I'm fucking out. I'm
out,
done.
Bro.
And this is the last corporate account, but I'm going to do a lot of them. We talked about Baby Nut on this podcast. We talked
about Baby Nut. We didn't.
Which is when Mr. Peanut turned into a baby during the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And the boy, he might be a baby, but he knows how to tweet. Because he's tweeting up a goddamn storm.
They established
and it's fucking bananas.
They established that his voice is like fully fledged human voice, even as a baby. So
okay, so let me just say, this baby-based tweets are just somebody. They're just like, do whatever. Nobody gives a shit about Mr. Peanut's Twitter. So I'm just gonna go through a bunch. Really want my pacifier right now, but getting out of my crib is gonna be a whole thing.
It's gonna be a whole. I gotta put on pants. I don't even own pants.
This one is oh, go on. He just this is about his clothing.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed a lot of other babies don't wear top hats. Should we bring them back? 64.2% of people said yes. 35.8% said no.
The 35% was like, keep them in the 1800s. We want no part of this.
He's just there. This one manager is just like, do we tweet about just fucking like a poll about top hats? Like, what do we do
with Mr. Is this what social media is?
Yeah. Being a baby is like being on an emotional roller coaster you're not even tall enough to ride.
Trying to be all right. That's like relatable to all the babies who are on Twitter. It's like, yep. You're right. This is relatable content. I'm also a baby.
Cool. Why are hiccups and how do I make them stop? All caps.
Oh my god.
Wow! Followed by 10 crying emojis.
Oh my god. Yo, like, this is why I don't have children. You could keep it off Twitter, bro.
Gotta be in bed by 6 so I can wake up at 3 a.m. to scream.
That's pretty good.
Followed by an upside down smiley face.
That's pretty good. I like that.
People keep saying they want to crush me and eat me like this. That one was just, we talked about wanting to eat Mr. Peanut. And so that was just in relation to that. Shout out to dolphins. They get it. What the fuck?
Excuse
Mr.
me,
Peanut?
what? Are you smoking something, Baby Nut?
The next two are my favorites, and they're the last two. Goober Goober Gaga.
That's pretty good.
End of tweet.
End of tweet. That's a new that's a new catchphrase if I've ever seen one.
This is another poll that got 19,000 votes. Why am I crying? 1, I stubbed my toe, 11%. I'm hunky. That got 29.9% of the vote.
Don't like it.
I'm teething, 8% of the vote. And last one is I'm baby. 51.1%.
I'm baby.
Most people said I'm baby. It's reason why you're crying, you stupid peanut. That's the end of stupid Twitter.
I don't understand what audience they're going to. Has their marketing department identified that like new moms love Planters peanuts, and so they need to have this relatable baby character?
You gotta get some protein in your life. All right, Theo, let's go to your next segment.
They've identified their target market, and they're sticking to it. Babies
I'm already
only.
Moving on from this. Next segment.
Damn, you were quick. You were like out the door.
I'm done with this.
All right.
We're already almost at a long time into this podcast.
I have for you another terrible theme park. Here we go.
Ooh.
This one is called the Holy Land Experience in Orlando, Florida.
This is Jesus.
It's Jesus.
Jesus country.
Welcome to Jesus. All right. Here we go. Here's a little a short explanation from Wikipedia. The Holy Land Experience, HLE, is registered as a Christian-based theme park in Orlando, Florida, and registered nonprofit corporation. HLE conducts weekly church services and Bible studies for the general public. HLE's theme park recreates the architecture and themes of the ancient city of Jerusalem in 1st century Judea.
Oh, no.
Don't you want to be put back in the past 2,000 years?
Here's your sandals. Take off your sneakers. You're going to just get dusty now.
We're going to randomly select a class of citizen for you to fall into. Oh, looks like you're all working class.
You're all just walking. We're going to walk through the desert for the next, 30 years?
Ma'am, you can't bring food into the park because there was no food readily available back then.
I just had a thought. Why is this in Florida? You know what's really like Jerusalem in the Middle East? Is wet, humid Florida. It's really, for that experience. We put all the dust and all the stuff, but it's all turned to mud. It's because it's Florida.
Here's a little blurb from Yahoo Lifestyle. The Holy Land.
That's the best place to get your sources.
The Holy Land experience has good intentions. The theme park's main mission is to bring the teachings of the Bible to life.
That's always followed by a but, though. It has good intentions, but...
Yes, wait, you're exactly right. The theme park's mission is to bring the teachings of the Bible to life, which they do, ... But things quickly turn somber.
No.
Here we go. Instead of a parade of costume characters like the one at nearby Disney World, Holy Land shows the crucifixion of Christ. That's right. Twice a day, a bloodied and beaten Jesus is paraded through the park before he is nailed to a cross and dies.
Honey, that's Jesus. Go get a picture of him. He's like, oh, he's bleeding.
All right, kids, scooch in.
You gotta do a peace sign.
Do a cross sign. Oh no.
They actually take the actor and crucify a new actor each day. It's insane.
Yahoo says,
costs.
We could be wrong, but we think your child would probably prefer a picture with Mickey.
This is not up to the child. No child is like, let me go to Jesus
me if I'm wrong,
world.
But
I think they're going to want to hang out with Mickey Mouse. Imagine, I just got the vision of Mickey Mouse carrying a cross through Disney World. Just like with somber music going.
So from the reviews that I read, the general themes of this seem to be that like the place is really small, the food is terrible, and the main events are like these shows that they put on that have limited capacity, where even if you're in the park and you've paid to get into the park, you're by no means guaranteed to be let into like the shows. So like you could just miss things because they're at capacity.
So the whole main events you can miss.
You can miss because like they're at capacity.
That's a great design.
Yeah.
For your theme park.
So here's a couple of choice reviews from the internet.
All right.
Dana says, people who actually like this place are literally insane. I can't even drive by without feeling like I'm going to burst into flames.
All right, Dana.
Thomas,
real sinner there.
Thomas says, unless you're the Ned Flanders type, this is not really a fun place at all.
I think that's only for them. Yeah.
Thomas,
I don't think they were like
Thomas also says, good food though, which is the opposite of every single other review I read, which is wild.
Can I get a churro that isn't a cross? I need to know.
I read one review where some lady was like, I ordered a salad that had falafel on it, but the falafel were bad, and I give this a 1-star review. I was like, lady, it's a theme park. I don't know what you want.
Yeah, I don't know why you're getting salad at the theme park. That's
just awful.
Asking for trouble.
Here's another review from Bianca, who could equally be named Karen. Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go. This was not a holy experience. My children and I went to visit Holy Land Orlando, and we were unable to see any shows. After spending nearly $200 on entry fees, I was not permitted to bring my double stroller with 2 sleeping infants into any experience. I was turned away from every performance. When I asked for my money back because we couldn't see shows, the manager told me it was not his problem and their policy was will not issue a refund. I stated that I was...
The manager told me, fuck off.
I stated that I was unaware of this policy and the ticket booth should have told me that. The manager waved, smiled sarcastically, and told me to have a blessed day. Savage. Absolutely savage.
There's a certain level of Christians fucking with other Christians. Like, that's really just
the holier than thou experience hit full force for Bianca.
Everybody's feeling holier than thou.
Yes,
but they're at a
literally
holy park.
Like everyone's like, we paid to be holier than thou.
Yeah.
And a last review that I think sums it up, the whole experience pretty nicely. Giovanni says, I think I'm an atheist now.
Why would they go? The sass level reminds me of a teenager that is an atheist already, and their parents brought them the animal. Oh, I'm an atheist now. This made me an atheist. It's like you were. There's no way that a hardcore Christian was just like, you know what, this place sucks.
I think I'm an atheist.
Don't believe in Jesus anymore. I think Jesus is an asshole for making this park.
He wouldn't have subjected this to me if he was real. I'm done.
I'm done with Jesus. Is that fine?
There were also a couple other reviews that were like, me and my 7-year-old son were really excited for this, but got super disappointed. I was like, I don't know if your 7-year-old son was excited for this. I think you told him you were going to Disney, and I think he got really excited.
You tricked him. What a wonderful holy segment.
Time. Don't you feel a little bit more blessed today for knowing all of that?
No.
No.
Anyway.
Thanks. No.
Anyway, let's go to my segment, which this is compliments of my good friend Thomas, because we were playing a video game the other day, and I was just we're just shooting the shit, whatever. We're playing Rocket League, and I brought up that I watched a movie that Annie made me watch, which is called Zoom Academy for Heroes, which I don't want to do a full review of Zoom Academy for Heroes because that's a whole different deal. It's a bad movie. It's starring Tim Allen. It's basically like superheroes. Like, he's an old wash-up superhero, and then his evil brother is coming back from this like time warp, and so they need to get new superhero kids.
Sounds terrible.
It's real bad. It's I could go into a whole thing. It's just a weird movie. And it has Chevy Chase, and it has Monica from Friends, even though it was post Friends, so she didn't need the money.
Okay.
But that's interesting by itself. But we looked it up because he just was like, I'm going to go into this Wikipedia. One, the budget for this movie was $75 million. The box office was $12.5 million.
Ooh!
So real bad. This is on the list of the worst summer flops.
Oh my god!
Like, worst summer movies. Annie loves it because she could see the movie that could be, which is a totally different thing. But I was like, okay, so this must have bankrupted the studio that produced it, right? Let's go into the studio that produced it.
Oh no!
So this is a conspiracy theory that I have posed. That we went into this like. So this isn't conspiracy query, but this is just Will Kane with his Will Kane's corkboard.
Welcome to Will Kane's corkboard.
Welcome to Will Kane's corkboard. Okay, so the company that produced it is called Revolution Studios, which you might know like what the symbol for their thing is. So we looked up what movies they did. They started in 2001 making movies. It was founded in 2000 by Joe Roth, a former chairman of Walt Disney Studios, Caravan Pictures, and 20th Century Fox.
He thought he could do his own thing. Here we go.
Yeah. And then Sony Pictures owned a stake in the company to distribute and market their films. Okay. And so they had like a deal with them. They made movies starting 2001, and it's all like the most 2000s movies. They went from 2001 to 2007 making movies. So they made like Tom Cats, The Animal, America's Sweethearts, The One, Black Hawk Down, which is a big movie.
Wow, okay.
The New Guy, The Master of Disguise, which is a movie I watched. Triple X, Stealing Harvard, Punch Drunk Love, Made in Manhattan, Darkness Falls, Tears of the Sun, Anger Management, Daddy Daycare, Hollywood Homicide, Jiggly, Radio, The Missing, Mona Lisa Smile, Peter Pan, Hellboy, 13 Going on 30, White Chicks, Little Black Book, The Forgotten, Christmas with the Cranks, Are We There Yet, Man of the House, Triple X State of the Union, An Unfinished Life, The Fog, The Prize Winner of Defiance, Ohio, Rent, Freedom Land, The Benchwarmers, Click, Little Man Zoom, Rocky Balboa, Are We Done Yet, Perfect Stranger, Next, Daddy Day Camp, The Brother Solomon, Across the Universe, The Water Horse. And that's where they ended. And then in 2017, they made Triple X Return of Sandra Cage.
Just wait, out of the blue? Like a grand return?
After 10 years, they made a new movie.
They're like, hey, we're back, baby. We got a new one for you.
So they had a deal with, basically they had a 6-year deal with Sony. Okay. After that point, they stopped making movies.
They just stopped.
This is in the Wikipedia. In October 2014, Revolution Studios forged a global licensing pact with Miramax, wherein the latter company would sell the worldwide TV and digital distribution rights to Revolution's library. They've been handling the library since June 2012. And also in the Wikipedia is basically after that time, Coinciding with the end of the 6-year distribution deal with Sony in 2007, Revolution turned its attention to exploiting the remake, sequel, and television rights to films in its library. So they started licensing, like that's how they made Hellboy 2, which came out in 2008.
Okay.
So and then they started making direct-to-video stuff and television. This goes into a different conspiracy theory, Theo. The fact that they just stopped and just started trying to like use this thing. So they made
a couple IPs.
They made a couple of television shows. They made Queen Supreme, which only lasted 1 season and was only 13 episodes. Are We There Yet? Which is a show on TBS that had which was based on the Ice-T
yeah, I think I remember
movie.
seeing commercials for that.
Yeah, and it stars Terry Crews.
Right.
So like, and then also Drew Carey's improv Ganza, great.
Great.
That was 1 season. Are We There? But yeah, it was 3 seasons. And then Anger Management, which is what Thomas and I went into next in our corkboard, like him going down the thing.
Yeah, we're going down the rabbit hole.
Both Are We There Yet? And Anger Management have 100 episodes. Are We There Yet? Is 3 seasons. Anger Management is 2 seasons.
Wait, how do
for
they
those? Yes. Okay.
50
Yes.
episodes
Yes.
a season?
Okay.
What? How?
For people that don't know Anger Management, the lead actor was Charlie Sheen right as he was breaking down. Which, if people don't remember that, it was Charlie Sheen going just haywire, on like very visibly, very publicly, and he's just going insane. Like that was the whole Tiger Blood thing, and like him going crazy. And so they snatched him up for this FX show, Anger Management, which is very apropos.
Right.
Except he's the therapist in it.
He's the sane one.
He's the sane one. Okay, so and that's based on the movie. So he plays like the same thing as Jack Nicholson's character in the movie. So 2 seasons, 100 episodes.
Wild.
How do you think those are distributed based on the seasons?
I mean, they can only come out with. Wait, so
because normal seasons are like max, like what I've seen, like 26
so, like,
episodes.
I assumed that it was 50 and 50, but it's not 50 and 50, is what you're saying.
I'm not necessarily saying it's not 50, but is that what you're thinking it's gonna be?
What my initial thought was that it was 50-50.
First season, 10 episodes.
No.
Second season, 90 episodes.
No!
Why is nobody talking
illegal.
about this? That there's 90 episodes of a season.
At some point, they're like,
Management.
hey, guys, we need to put a break on and take a break from making episodes.
Can we just talk about how fucking wild it is?
That's gotta be a record. Right?
They were just like, we need to just go literally just like it was literally like 45 episodes per year. People were keep pumping them out.
Jesus.
There's even there's an actress named Selma Blair, which I can't remember her name or her face, but I remember her name. She was like cut from the show because she was the female lead. And then they added a new female lead. There was a canceled episode called Charlie and Kate Have Sex for Science, which was going to be the 26th episode of season 2. Following the aftermath of Blair, which is the character's planned dismissal, the planned broadcast was canceled and replaced with Charlie and the Hot Nerd. It was basically an episode where they were going to have sex, but it was like they didn't specify how much of the episode was going to have sexual content. It's just buck wild to me that they thought of that. That there's an episode of a thing that's like, oh yes, they have sex. It just, but it is. Anyway, so I know the reason why that they did this. And also, Are We There Yet? Has the episodes is 10, 34, 56, which is a little bit more understandable. Do you know how many episodes it takes to get into syndication?
100?
100 episodes, Theo. So these fuckers, these corporate fuckers,
God,
made this show specifically to get into syndication because they had the few other shows, but those were only like 1 season. They didn't match anything.
Oh my God.
So they just pumped them out in order to get to syndication to cash in.
Holy moly. What a schemy, slimy thing to do. I love it.
Thank you, Thomas, for going into this insane, like all this research was his. it was him going, "Did you know?" Anger management on FX. And we're like, because I was like, I forgot. I thought that got canceled after like season 2 or whatever. 100 episodes.
So tell me what syndication means in terms of dollar value for them.
Syndication is like Friends gets way money for its syndication. I actually didn't look how much do you make from syndication? I know the actors get money off of syndication. So like
it's just
the
like
Friends
the creators,
cast gets like
Basically, like
when you make the contract with the studio, they're like, if you get to 100 episodes, we'll just pay you out because you've been that successful. Is basically the crux of it, right?
yeah.
Because the assumption is that if you get to 100 episodes, you've brought in crazy money because it's still on the air.
Mm-hmm. I think it's the idea of like, we're going to take your series and we're going to just like replay it.
Right.
And then you make just like tons of money off of that.
Right.
I should have looked into this before, and I'm trying to look up like even what is syndication. Because I know what syndication is, but I'm also like, broadcast syndication is the license to broadcast television programs and radio programs by multiple television stations and radio stations without going through a broadcast network. So that means that they can sell this on all different channels.
Yeah, and you just collect crazy money from it.
And then you just collect crazy money from it.
Right. So these guys were like, if we get to 100 episodes, we get crazy money. That's how this works.
So from what I understand, it's basically you can, instead of like, hey, this is only on FX, we have a thing with them. You get to a certain amount and then you can syndicate it. So that means that you can sell it to like anyone, even though they might like create new episodes for that one thing.
That's craziness.
Yeah. So
I love this. This is a full-blown conspiracy.
That they only made this show to get into syndication.
Yes. And presumably it worked.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm amazed that you found this and uncovered this, because this is a full-blown corkboard, and it's worthy of a corkboard.
Thank you, Thomas, once again for doing like all this research and just kind of telling me about it and having me go, what? Like, when he was like, there's 100 episodes. I'm like, what? And then he was like, there's 2 seasons. I'm like, what? Just God. Bananas. Revolution Studios, what are you doing? And then they came back with Return of Xander Cage, Triple X. Anyway, that's the end of our show. We're actually going into syndication now. We're almost at episode 50. Did you know that?
We're almost next time.
We're at 49. So thank you, everybody. Remember to, if you want to, send us an email. Send us a great email at segmentcitypodcast@gmail.com if you have any conspiracies that you have about syndication and TV. Also, leave us a review. Leave us some notes, some star ratings on your podcast network of choice. Hit up our Twitter, which you can find our terrible corporate tweets at, and head up our YouTube channel. And now it's the time that Theo...
Yes, hello, and it's me. It's my time.
Yeah.
I would like to thank someone this week.
Who is it?
It's Rachel. Did you know that she does a great job? She did our intro music, and she has her own podcast called Create Loud. You can check it out wherever you got our podcast. She's a wonderful person. Give her your patronage.
Yes, please do. And thank you for your patronage by listening to our podcast. But we must go.
We must go.
We have to make all this money out. We're going to go to Christian Park.
Well, we only have to do 51 more.
Welcome to Jesus Park.
Oh my
It's
God.
just a bunch of Jesuses and they're grazing and they're like, they're turning a bunch of fish into more fish.
They're like,
turning water into wine.
Here's my blood. Here's my body. Here you go. Just giving it out.
There's one Jesus eating another Jesus.
Oh my God. Jesus.
Like a dinosaur. Okay, we're done with this bit.
Thank you for listening. You've been listening to Segment City. Please come back next week, even though we just did a weird bit about Jesus. 50. 50. 50. We'll do it.
50.
Bye-bye.
Bye.